Today, I'm going to share with you 5 real estate agent hacks that you can implement into your business and help you double your sales with half of the effort. Some of these hacks are apps and some of them are strategies, but nonetheless, you'll be able to implement these in just days or weeks. All right, what's up guys? Kyle Handy here. And if you're new to the channel, I'm a real estate agent here in San Antonio, Texas. I've built a real estate team all over the United States, and I still actively sell real estate here in San Antonio, Texas. If you'd like to receive the newest strategies, tips, and tricks for being a real estate agent, definitely subscribe to my channel and give this video a like if you get some value out of it. So we all know being a real estate agent is tough work, especially when you're first getting started. There's all sorts of little ins and outs that over the course of being a real estate agent can sometimes make the job a little bit easier. And that's what I'm here to do today, is to share with you a few of the things that have made my life easier as a real estate agent. And it's one of those things that when you see an experienced agent, you're like, well, how do they do so much business? I'm working my butt off and I just don't have any more hours in the day to be more productive. Well, there's just some hacks that you can do in your business to get more productivity each and every minute that you're working. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Number 1, Calendly. This little tool has not only gotten me a ton more business, but it saved me a ton of time as well. If you're not familiar with what Calendly is, it is a scheduling tool that hooks up to whatever calendar system you use, whether it's Google Calendar, Outlook, whatever you use, it's going to hook into it. It's going to see what you have on your calendar already set up, and then it allows you to create events that you can send out as links. So if you're trying to get somebody to set a time or an appointment on your calendar, they'll only be able to set a time for whenever you're available. I'm going to share with you the 5 different events that I have set up on my Calendly that I'm able to send out to my clients to make my scheduling a lot easier. But first, I want to point out one other huge benefit to Calendly. So if you're creating online funnels and a lot of your leads are coming from Zillow, Facebook, Realtor.com, Google, wherever they are online, if you have a blog or a YouTube channel even, the benefit to Calendly is that you can actually set these links up, put them into your funnel, and what you'll start to notice is that people will start to schedule buyer consultations and listing appointments with you without you even having to talk with them. You'll just randomly get an email saying somebody has set up a listing appointment with you or a buyer consult. It's a great feeling to know that your funnel is working for you 24/7. But let's assume maybe you don't have a funnel and you just want to use Calendly to help with your scheduling. Here are the 5 events that I have set up that I send out to all of my clients depending on what the situation is. So first off, I've got a listing consultation event. If I know that I'm going to go over for a listing appointment, instead of asking the person, hey, are you available at 3 o'clock? Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm not available at 6 o'clock. Okay. What about next week at 4 o'clock? Instead of going back and forth, I just have to send my calendar link to them, and they can then look at all of the times that are available and pick one that works best for them. What a great experience that is for your client, especially if you're just starting out that relationship. And what's great about Calendly is you can put in there different parameters. So if I know that my listing consultation takes 1 hour, I can put in there that the duration of the event is 1 hour, and I need at least 30 minutes of drive time before and 30 minutes of drive time after, so no other events can get booked in that time. Or let's just say I have a 10 a.m. to an 11 a.m. event that I'm already doing. It's not going to allow somebody to book 11 a.m. even if I'm free at that time, because there was not 30 minutes of drive time there. So it's very intuitive. It will know what you already have available, so it doesn't allow for you to get double booked if you set it up correctly. Just to reiterate, this is one of those tools that literally you could spend 1 day, and it may not even take you a whole day, but if you just dedicated 1 day to learning Calendly, getting it set up, getting your calendar organized, then I promise you the rest of the year will be so much easier for you as far as scheduling goes. All right, the other 4 events that I use is I've got a buyer consultation event, and now most recently I've been doing Zoom buyer consultations. So this event I have only set up for 30 minutes, and I don't need any drive time because I'm doing it from my computer at home. And so you can either set up 15 minutes if you just want to make sure that you're not going like from one appointment to the next. You can do that if you want. You can really kind of just make it to your schedule. Same thing as the driving time. If your average drive time from wherever your house is to the most of the homes that you go to listing appointments on, you can set that up to be 45 minutes or an hour. 2 hours, whatever it is that you want. I just have found that 30 minutes is more than sufficient for me. All right, the next 3 all have to do with showing homes. So I've got 3 showing home events that I've got on my Calendly. The first one is a 1 home tour. The second one is a 2 to 3 home tour. And the last one is a 4 to 6 home tour. I use these different events because if I know that somebody wants to go see 1 house, or if they want to go see 5 homes, I can send them the correct event. And depending on which one they choose, if it's a 1 home tour, it's only going to have a duration of 30 minutes, along with 30 minutes of drive time there, 30 minutes of drive time back. If it's a 4 to 6 home tour, then it's going to have a 2-hour duration with a 30-minute drive time, 30-minute drive time back. And if it's a 2 to 3 home tour, then it's going to be a hour-long duration with 30 minutes in front and 30 minutes behind. Again, if your showing times on average are longer than mine or whatever, you can adjust these. But over my career, these are just what I've found as far as how long it takes me to show each of these homes. And so that way, whenever I know if somebody's going to take 5 homes, I just send them my link and I say, hey, pick a time that works for you and I'll see you at the first property. And then of course I text them which property that'll be. But at least as far as the scheduling goes, it's super quick, super clean and easy. Real estate agent hack number 2, create content, not social media posts. All right. I know this goes against a lot of probably what you've thought, maybe what you've heard from other people. But in my opinion, I feel too many real estate agents get caught in the social media trap where they're constantly just posting random kind of posts, which realistically don't have a lot of reach and don't have a lot of longevity. What I mean by this, when you create a YouTube video or a blog post versus an Instagram post or a Facebook post or something on LinkedIn or wherever you're posting it, the lifespan of how long that content piece works for you on a blog or a YouTube channel is much longer than what it would be on a Facebook post or an Instagram post. And so what that leads is for inefficiencies. It's going to make you have to be constantly creating posts. Whereas if you create content on a blog or on a YouTube channel where it's optimized, it's targeted at search traffic, you can create one piece of content that will provide you results for years down the road. Again, it's all about working smarter, not harder. The amazing thing about creating blog posts and YouTube videos is the fact that I can do keyword research, which I've actually got another video I'll link up above about blogging for real estate, and it actually applies a lot to YouTube as well. But it talks about keyword research and how you can actually see what people in your local market are searching for on Google and on YouTube. Then you can create a piece of content dedicated to that topic, create it and publish it with search engine optimized techniques, SEO techniques, to where your post will get found by Google and or YouTube. And then once you've created it, you'll have that piece work for you for months and for years down the road. And so as you continue to create content, you're just continuing to build your foundation at which people will start to find you. This is an extremely underserved market when it comes to real estate agents. There are hardly any cities that I'm seeing agents taking full advantage of these techniques and strategies in their market. So I think it's the low-hanging fruit for us to be able to go out there and really start to capture Google search and what people are already searching for. Otherwise, if you just focus on Facebook and Instagram and you're making posts on there, then again, most of those posts, they don't get seen after a few days or weeks. And we all know too that the algorithms, they change constantly. And right now, unless you're truly paying for traffic, most of your Facebook business posts are not going to have a lot of reach to your target audience. So again, this is just one great way that you can save yourself some time. I wish that in the beginning of my career, I had paid more focus and more attention to this, because 12 years later now, had I started back then, I can't even imagine the amount of traffic that my website would be getting, my YouTube channel would be getting. But even still, at this point in just 2 years later of creating videos and blog posts, I'm getting over 10,000 unique visitors, whether it's to my blog or my YouTube channel, every single month, which is just amazing. And it puts a lot of opportunity in front of me. So it does not have to take a ton of time for you to start this. Number 3, build social proof early. I remember when I first got started in thinking, I can't wait till I close a few deals so that way I can start getting some recommendations and some ratings. And don't think like that. You actually need to start getting recommendations and referrals day one. I'm sure there's people that you know in your life that can speak to your character, that can speak to your business acumen, whatever it may be, but get some testimonies from day one. Don't wait until you have some closings under your belt. You need that social proof, especially in this day and age where most people decide if they're going to use their realtor before they even reach out to you just based on what they can find on you online. There's 5 places that I feel you need to focus your attention to be able to really dial in and get your social proof into these platforms. And number 1 is Zillow. As much as I'm not a huge fan of Zillow, I don't do any advertising or anything like that with the platform, I still know that they're one of the top real estate websites, and most consumers are going to that site and looking up recommendations, or if they're just typing in your name, most of the time, if you have a Zillow profile, it's going to be on the first page of Google. So be sure that you get some testimonials on your Zillow profile. Next up, in kind of the same vein, is Realtor.com. Third, we've got Yelp, and Yelp's a little special. So they're got some different stipulations as far as going out and getting recommendations. You may want to do a little bit more research as to just, not going out and sending out 15 requests for reviews all in one sitting, because Yelp can kind of fish through that and they'll know that if you get all of these reviews at once, something's going on. So they won't really count those reviews as much as they would if you kind of space them out and make sure, again, they're legitimate. Make sure somebody is actually knows your character. They can speak to you personally. Maybe it's somebody that was a customer of yours in a previous industry, whatever it may be, but just make sure you're not just putting fake reviews in there of people that don't know who you are or can't truly speak to your character. And additionally, don't get them to lie about the review and say that you helped them buy a home or sell a home when you didn't. All right, so number 4 is your Facebook business page. Be sure that you start getting some reviews on your Facebook business page. And then lastly is your Google business page. Make sure that you've signed up for a Google business page and you've got some reviews on there as well. By covering these 5 bases, if somebody was to look you up online, then you have a much higher chance at having them want to reach out to you and do business with you. Number 4, get help early. This is kind of like a chicken and the egg scenario. There's a lot of agents that in the beginning don't have a lot of money, so they feel like I can't go out and get help. Then they really don't have the fundamental pieces supporting them to really have success early on. But if you try and find ways that you can be frugal with your money and still be able to get people that are experts or at least better than you at what you need help with, you'll start to grow much faster than if you have all of these gaps in your business. A lot of becoming a good real estate agent has to do with you understanding your weaknesses and being able to find people that can fill in those weaknesses for you. There's 2 platforms that I use on a regular basis to help fill some of these gaps. I use Upwork, which is a virtual assistant platform where you can go in and search for people by their job title, by what they're good at. You can filter it by their hourly wage, and you'll have workers from all over the world that will do jobs that might only be $4 to $6 an hour, but they will work hard, they're skilled, and that may be a great wage in their country. So for instance, I'm terrible at databases, but I know the importance of them, and I know that they're only good if they are updated with accurate information. So this is one area where I can pay a virtual assistant from, let's just say, the Philippines, $4 or $5 per hour to go in, verify information, which I can give them the parameters of how they do it, and it saves me a ton of time. I just recently hired somebody from Upwork, not to actually do work, but as a consultant. I paid somebody, their hourly wage was astronomical, $250 an hour. I probably could not pay that person enough to be able to run my funnels for me. However, I could pay for 1 hour as far as a consult for them to take a look at everything that I have set up and give me their feedback. And so I've done that on different occasions, and it's always paid itself back 10 times over. You can use virtual assistants for QuickBooks and even your social media marketing or advertising. Again, it's one of those things where over time you start to realize either what you're not good at or what you don't like to do. And just because you don't like to do it, that's not an excuse for not having it be done. You need to find somebody that can do the work for you so you don't have gaps in your business. Now, the other tool that I use is a tool called Fiverr. This is more of like a temporary one-off scenario where, let's just say you need a logo or you need an introduction to your YouTube video. You can find somebody on Fiverr, and most of the gigs, as they call it, are about $5. but then they usually have add-ons that you're going to want to add on, and they can go anywhere from about $5 to $50 for the entire gig. Still not a bad price to get what you need done from an expert or someone who is highly skilled in it. And you can sort, of course, by recommendations, and you can see their star ratings to make sure that you're getting somebody that does good work. All right, last but not least, number 5, build on top of your efforts, not alongside, especially in the beginning. So I know we all think diversification is the way to be. It's the conservative approach. It gives you the most chance that you might strike gold with something. But in actuality, when you're getting started in real estate, you need to go deep with whatever strategy you decide is best for your business. Again, this goes back to knowing what you're good at or what you're not good at or what you don't like to do, and deciding on what is going to be your strategy to be effective to get leads coming to you on a consistent basis. So let's just say that your strategy was going to be sphere of influence. You've got a big network, you've lived in your city for a long time, and you know a lot of people. Maybe you were in a service industry before, and so you've got past clients, whatever it may be, but you determine that that's going to be your thing. Well, instead of doing what most agents do and going and just making a list or maybe kind of downloading their contacts into a spreadsheet and then calling a few of them or maybe sending a few emails or text messages out, you really got to go deep into that source. One of the most influential books that I read as a new real estate agent, and I'm sure a lot of you have read it or are probably currently reading it, is The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. The one thing about that book that really stuck with me was the 33 touch program. I realized early on that it wasn't just going to be one single phone call or an email or anything like that that was going to get my clients, my sphere of influence, to want to do business with me. It was going to take multiple touches in many different mediums. So if you did say that sphere of influence was your thing, I would tell you, okay, let's just go ahead and say that you're going to call each of the people in your database once a quarter. Well, there's 4 touches right there. Then let's say that you're going to set them up on an automated email campaign that sends them relevant properties or maybe like a market update of their property if they already are a homeowner once per month. Well, there's 12 touches right there. You're up to 16. Well, now how are you going to get more touches? Well, we can set up some text messages. That will be another medium that could touch onto those clients. We could also utilize a program like send out cards, which I've talked about in the past, to send about 4 or 5 cards throughout the year, including a birthday gift to them. There's another 5 touches. You can do Facebook retargeting. So now they're seeing your message on their social media feed. So what I'm trying to say is that you can do multiple things, but make sure that the efforts are focused on the one lead source that you determine is best for your business. Too many real estate agents, especially new ones, get caught up with going out to tons of training. All they do is train, train, train. They're hearing different ideas as far as what strategy they should do or what somebody else in their office is doing. And they start to get distracted and they start trying that and they do this and they do that, but they don't go deep on any one source. And so then they assume that none of the sources work, when in actuality, it was because they didn't go deep on any particular lead source. I think there's clarity in the sense that once an agent determines what the best lead source is for them, they can become the expert. And then you can still go get training, but make sure it's focused on that lead source. And you're not just going to every training out there that's teaching you about things that you don't need to be learning about at this time. Literally being the expert at one lead source can bring you to being the top agent in your particular office. I've seen it many, many times. So as another example, let's say that you've decided you want to call for sale by owners. You can of course call for sale by owners, but there's so much more you can do with them. Same thing, get their emails, put them in a retargeting audience, try and find an open house in their neighborhood that you can host over the weekend. So maybe they come across your signs as they're driving into their house. Send your seller marketing package to their home. There's many more things that you can do and many more ideas you can get if you become the expert at that one source. Blogging or creating a YouTube channel. Same thing. If you want to become the expert, just pour into it. Create 2, 3, 4 pieces of content every week if you can. And I promise you that within 6 months, you'll be having more leads than you could ever handle. All right. So again, I hope these 5 things were extremely helpful to you in your business. I tried to pick out things that are easily implemented. They don't take a lot of time and they could just be a slight tweak into what you're already doing that might make a big impact in your business. So one thing I'm super curious about, leave in the comment below what was your number one takeaway, your number one hack that you plan to implement into your business. And of course, if you've made it this far into the video and you're getting value, please consider giving this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel so you'll get notified when I create a new video every single week. Thanks for tuning in and be well.